Welcome to the Economist Word Spotlight. Have you ever wondered how the specific words journalists use to describe business strategies can reveal a company's deepest fears and their boldest gambles?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the language they use it's never accidental,
Right, exactly. And today, we are exploring an article with the title, America's Car Makers Cannot Escape Chinese EVs Forever.
Yeah, that title really just sets a dramatic stage right from the jump.
It really does. So to give you a quick mission briefing for today, we are going to explore the specific vocabulary used in this article. By unpacking these words, we're basically going to decode this high-stakes battle between Detroit's legacy automakers and the rising tide of Chinese electric vehicles, or EVs.
I love that approach because, the words give us the actual war room strategies.
Exactly. So to understand the American auto industry's current mood, we first have to look at how they are reacting to external threats. The article actually uses this great phrase, I'll read the quote, "These commitments may be interpreted as a circling of the wagons as much as a sign of confidence."
Circling of the wagons, that is such a vivid idiom to start with.
It is, right. When I hear that, I instantly visualize those old pioneer wagons out on the prairie pulling into this tight circle during a storm or an attack. It's all about huddling together to fend off danger rather than, charging ahead.
That is the perfect visualization, really. In business, the idiom means adopting a defensive posture as a group when facing external threats. So here, it means American car makers are banding together defensively.
They're retreating to what feels safe.
Exactly. I mean, the complete opposite of this would be, say, opening up or welcoming outsiders. But they aren't doing that. They're heavily insular right now.
Right. But that defensive huddle isn't just physical, right? It's legal and economic, too.
Which leads directly to our next term. The article says, but in relying on petrol power behind protectionist barriers, America's car makers risk falling behind competitors.
Yes. Protectionist barriers.
Now, I have to push back a little here. Aren't barriers just smart business defense? I mean, why does the article frame a fortress wall as a risk? Well, it's a great question. So, as a plural noun, protectionist barriers are trade restrictions, like tariffs or quotas set up to protect domestic industries from foreign competition.
Right, keeping the outsiders out.
Exactly. The opposite would be free trade or open markets. But here's the context. The U.S. is using massive tariffs as a fortress wall against these cheap, advanced Chinese EVs.
So why is that risky?
Because while the wall keeps invaders out, it risks isolating the U.S. from global industry advancements. If you don't have to compete, you sort of stop innovating.
Oh, I see. You get too comfortable. So if Detroit is building these fortress walls, what exactly are they protecting inside? Well, it lies in the specific types of vehicles Americans love, the article notes. Tariffs and regulatory changes have favored gas-guzzlers over the electric vehicles gaining popularity elsewhere in the world.
Gas-guzzlers. Now, that is a heavily loaded noun.
It really is. I always joke that these are cars that drink petrol like it's happy hour.
That's a great way to put it. By definition, a gas guzzler is a vehicle that consumes massive amounts of fuel, typically with poor efficiency and high emissions.
And we Americans we love them, don't we?
We do. In context, it reflects the U.S. market's stubborn preference for these petrol-heavy vehicles over EVs. The opposite, of course, would be fuel-efficient cars or hybrids.
Right, and these cars aren't just thirsty, they are physically imposing. Which brings us to our next word. The article says, Detroit dominates the manufacture of the mammoth pickup trucks and monster SUVs that Americans love.
Mammoth. Such a descriptive adjective.
It really is. I mean, these cars are so massive, they practically need their own zip code.
Yeah, they really dominate the physical landscape of American roads.
Yeah.
The word mammoth means extremely large or massive in size or scale.
Like the extinct elephant.
Exactly, just huge and lumbering. It perfectly captures the gigantic nature of American pickups. The opposite would be tiny or compact, which is what the rest of the world is driving.
Okay, so relying on mammoth gas guzzlers while the rest of the world goes electric has led to a pretty harsh financial reality check. The article notes, the big three have a recent history of retrenchment, says Philippe Pouchois of Jefferies.
Retrenchment. That is a very polite corporate noun for a very painful process.
It sounds like pulling back, right?
Spot on. It means the act of reducing costs, spending, or scale, often responding to economic pressure, the exact opposite of expansion or growth.
So what does that look like for these car makers?
In this context, it means the big three are pulling back operations, cutting their global footprint, like GM basically leaving Europe and just tightening their belts.
Boy, why did they have to retrench in the first place? You explained to me earlier that it was basically this sudden collision between big dreams and hard reality.
Yeah, very expensive collision.
The article says, but past bullishness on EVs has been costly. Now, hold on. In Wall Street terms, bullishness is usually a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It means you're confident. How did confidence become a billion-dollar mistake here?
It's fascinating, right? So bullishness is a noun that means a confident or optimistic attitude, especially regarding expectations of rising value.
Like a bull market.
Exactly. The opposite would be bearishness or pessimism. But in this specific context, Detroit was dangerously over-optimistic. They were bullish on how fast they could pivot to EVs.
So they just charged ahead.
Right. They charged ahead with massive investments that ultimately hit a huge wall of low consumer demand and incredibly high costs.
Wow. So they threw billions at a market that just wasn't ready yet, which means the natural reaction to all that costly bullishness is to just, hit the brakes.
The article says Ford wrote down nearly $20 billion last year and Stellantis $26 billion. Mostly for scaling back EV plans.
Scaling back. That is the inevitable hangover of that bullishness.
So what exactly does it mean to scale back as a phrasal verb here?
It means reducing the size, amount, or scope of something due to financial constraints. Contextually, these automakers are drastically reducing their EV ambitions just to stop the financial bleeding, like stopping the factory lines or canceling models.
Yeah, the opposite would be to ramp up or expand, but they just can't afford to do that right now.
But scaling back doesn't mean giving up entirely, does it? Behind the scenes, American car makers are quietly plotting their next move, even as foreign rivals close in. The article has this really cool detail. Ford has created a skunkworks in California, brimming with software engineers and other techies.
I love the word skunkworks. It sounds like something out of a spy novel.
It does. I described it earlier as this secret underground laboratory, a place where the mad scientists of the company can work their magic without, corporate red tape getting in the way.
That's a really accurate way to describe it. As a noun, a skunkworks is a small, specialized group within a company working on advanced or secret projects with a high degree of autonomy.
So they operate outside the normal rules.
Exactly. The opposite would be a mainstream division or a public project team. Here it highlights Ford's covert strategy to build a rapid, scalable EV platform to specifically fight Chinese competitors.
They have to hide their innovators from their own bureaucracy. But while Detroit is busy in its skunkworks, the competition is not waiting politely at the border. They're already creeping in.
And that is the real threat.
The article says, they already have a toehold. Geely, China's second-largest car firm, owns Volvo, a Swedish firm with a factory in South Carolina.
A toehold. That is a brilliant strategic noun.
Like in rock climbing, right?
Yes. In rock climbing, it's a tiny spot to put your foot. By definition, a toehold is a small but secure position from which further progress can be made.
So they just wedge their foot in the door.
Exactly. In context, it means Chinese car companies have already planted a flag in the U.S. market. They are ready to slowly edge their way inside. The opposite of a toehold would be having a stronghold or total dominance.
Oh, wow. So they don't have dominance yet, but they are inside the walls because of that South Carolina factory.
Precisely. They sneaked right past those protectionist barriers.
That is wild. Okay, so let's quickly recap the journey of the vocabulary we've covered today. We started with the legacy automakers' circling of the wagons, relying on their mammoth gas guzzlers.
Right, and hiding behind those protectionist barriers.
Exactly. Then we looked at the painful retrenchment caused by their previous bullishness, which forced them to violently scale back their EV plans.
And now it's basically a race between Detroit's secret skunkworks and the toehold already secured by Chinese rivals.
It really is a high-stakes race. And based on all this, you left me with a really provocative final thought to ponder earlier.
I did, yes, because looking at the source text, you really have to wonder. If Chinese competitors are incredibly patient, already assembling cars across the border in Mexico and have a toehold in America, are Detroit's protectionist barriers and skunkworks truly enough to catch up?
It's a huge question.
Or are American automakers simply buying a few expensive years of borrowed time before the inevitable transformation of the road?
Wow. That is definitely something for you to mull over as you watch these companies battle it out in the news. Thank you so much for joining us on the Economist Word Spotlight. Keep an ear out for these power words, and we will catch you next time.